Boy, oh boy, I don't know if any of this is working at all. I'm Tommy. I hope there's some people here listening to me. People, I'm sorry about the lighting. It is absolutely horrific. Let me see what I can do here. Man, this lighting's bad. You know what happened? I forgot how I set this thing up in the past. It's kind of the nature of my life. Let's see here. Sorry, peeps. A little better? Not much. That's right. It's what we're going to have to live with for the time being. Maybe I'll get this worked out by tomorrow. Sorry. Liz Tricks, good to see you. Kestrel, what's happening? There's Kristen Melinda. How you been? Kristen Melinda, good to see you. Lacey Silver's here. Jason P, what's happening? Humble and kind. Hey, how are you? Tommy Bird. Yeah, there you are. Good. I'm glad. Tommy Bird says we're here. Susie with an S. Good to see you again. Sandy Wandy, what's happening? Hello, Anna. Scooby-Doo, Jennifer Folsom. Dee Dee Razzle Dazzle. Like the hat? That's my Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom hat. That's going to drive me nuts. Let's see. Is that? Yeah. Oh, what the hell is going on? Let's see here. That one off into space. It's like, sorry, a little patience. Thank you, people. It's going to drive me nuts for a day or two until I get all of this stuff kind of figured back out. There we go. How's the queen? Yeah, well, here's the thing with Squirrel Nut Zipper. Yeah, that lighting is just going to drive me friggin' nuts. All right, well, I'm just going to have to live with it. See that Jesus cloud thing we got going here? Hey, Mr. Smokes, how are you? And Hummingbird, good to see you. Nappy from Canada, what's happening? Electric Boogaloo, good to see you. Raymond Jackson, man. You love squirrel? I don't blame you. I actually there's already a pretty funny picture of me and squirrel that got snapped. I came in and passed out. People, let me tell you a little bit about the we'll bring you up to speed on where I've been in life, so to speak. I do need some sleep, Layla Bradley. Layla. I do need some sleep. So 3 nights ago, I started battling that old insomnia again. Roberta, good to see you. Yeah, I started battling insomnia again. The glory cloud. Yes, that's it, Franklin. Gene, good to see you. Excuse me. Rolling Stone, how are you? Hey, Tony. I am tired, man. Charlie Muffins, good to see you. Hey, Miss Dragon, saw some beautiful mugs today from you. Kim is blue. I'll debut them tomorrow with Spanky in the morning. Shauna B, good to see you. Thank you, Miss Dragon, as always. Her sister. Trisha Biggs, good to see you. Let's see who else we got. Lisa Trimble is in the house. Jane Aldrich is here. I live for now. Good to see you. So here's what's been happening. I don't do well with insomnia. It's been a lifelong struggle. It started when I was in my 20s. At least that's my memory, is that it started in the 20s. I suppose that in theory it might have started earlier than that. Today was another one of those travel days where unfortunately I picked the wrong day of the year to travel. Right? Let's keep it real. You probably shouldn't travel on Memorial or Labor Day, maybe 4th of July, Christmas Eve, things like that. So today, I was scheduled to come in and land. Gave me 35 minutes to get from the plane that I landed to the next flight. And I usually give, 30 minutes is plenty. I don't usually trip out too long with short layovers because most of the time they work out. Not today. Right. We sat on the runway for 30 minutes waiting for the plane that was parked at the gate. It took them 30 minutes for them to push away. They didn't tell us why. I don't know whether they were having, hey, Ivy's mama. I don't know whether they were having issues with, fixing something or whatever. Jinjin, good to see you. Squirrel will make an appearance, I promise. She'll pop up here. She's fairly social. Hey, Jinjin. So we wait 30 freaking minutes. I am at gate A19 is where we came into on the bright side. Lolo, good to see you. From the little old lady on wheels in SoCal, little old lady from Pasadena. Chicka Cherry Cola, good to see you. Glad you are here. Once they finally pulled away and we pulled in, it was a really, the process, man. There's 300 people on a plane. It takes about 15 minutes for everybody to get up, get their stuff, and leave. That's just the way it goes. I was at the absolute back of this puppy because that's just how it works when you book the way I do. So I was sitting in the back of the plane. It took an awful long time. This was a big airport, Nappy. I was at Dallas Fort Worth, DFW, and DFW, as far as American airports, is one of the gnarlier ones. Purple Groovy, 33 days under my belt, cigarette free. How friggin' cool is that, everybody? Huh? Do you love that? Hey, Iced Autumn, Jennifer Folsom. Yeah, Houston hobby's not so bad. Intercontinental's a little tougher, but hey, Monk. When do we get to see Johnny? Well, that's a good question, isn't it? I will be getting with him in the morning, so I'll let you know. Hi, Johnny. When you write down people's comments in your journal, do you fix the spelling and grammatical errors? If I ever say anything smart instead of sassy or sappy, please fix my brain fog. No, you know what? Here's the thing, right? So the reason, one of the reasons that I probably am a drug addict is because I can't do exactly what you're describing. And it used to be, it used to be the most frustrating thing in the world to me. I can't tell you how hard it was. Oh, guess who just got in the basket? What a good kitty. She just knows the rules. Yeah. So no, I'll write down whatever. I'll write down your errors exactly how they look. I copy, and I probably don't even copy well. That was one of the things that I had issues with as a kid as well. But thank you for the support, Helena Flock of Swan Boats, and I promise you that no matter what you say, it's going to sound intelligent. I don't judge people on grammar, right? I can't because I'm so bad at it. Yes, I gained 2 hours too. They didn't cut the AC off, which sometimes happen. Kristen Melinda says DFW longer than the Isle of Manhattan, and you know what? She's not far off. If you've ever been to DFW, been to Love, they used to call it Love Field, I guess. Now it's Dallas Fort Worth. But if you've ever been there, you got to get on a train to get from one terminal to the next, right? They're ABC, they're set up ABC style. I was at A19. I had to go to A17. Of course, when I got to A17, what did they tell me? Oh, no. This flight's going to Houston. I said, can you tell me where the flight that is going to Tucson is going to be going to? And they said, oh, sure. That one is in C, right? And you would think A, B, C, right? Doesn't work like that. You go A, 2 stops on A because they break it into 2 different sections. 1 through 32, 32 through 50 or whatever, right? Same thing with B. So each stop is 2. I had to go 8 stops, and it takes about 2 to 3 minutes a stop. I was screwed. So by the time I got there, the door was shut. The plane was still there, right? And there was at least, I'm not exaggerating, half of the plane that didn't get on that plane. So if you work for an airline, listen up real quick. The whole scheduling thing, I would imagine that's fairly important. And you do want to keep to a schedule. I think that's probably a big deal. My issue is if half the freaking plane didn't get on it, maybe you did something wrong, right? And since it's still sitting there, maybe we let those half get on. Yeah. Maybe they'll push you away from the gate 6 minutes, late, 10 minutes late, whatever. They can make up about 30 minutes, depending on the length of the flight, up to an hour by just using a little more gas. Right? You know that planes don't fly at full throttle. It would cost too much money. But I can't tell you how many times I've gotten on a plane and that pilot comes on in that boring voice. You look out on the left side of the aircraft, you know that dude? And they come on and go, yeah, we took off a little late, but we're going to make up the time. So what you're saying is at any time you wanted, you could make this thing on time, but you don't want to spend the money on the gas because it cuts into the profit. And I get that. If I ran a business, I would do the same thing. But they had a lot of very unhappy people. And I don't do well, honestly. If I'm put into a group of 60 people who are already PO'd, I'm probably not going to be the calming voice of reason in the group, right? If I have any articulate, if I can be articulate in any way, what's probably going to happen instead is I'm going to be, hey, Tony Suter, I'm going to become the mouthpiece for every other idiot there. That's usually what happens. And hey, Dale Cox, good to see you. DS Kitty, good to see you. I thought there was a chance of that today. Incarnasol, good to see you. Hey, Rue. I did think there was a chance of that today. So what I did instead was I walked away. Rick Spicer, good to see you. Diane? Yeah, the big DFW airport is awful. It really is awful. But is that a swinging cattail? Yes, she's just happy to see you. Oh, I wanted to show this off too. Tell me this isn't cool. Huh? I picked this up at a thrift store in Bug Tussle. And it is very reminiscent of the old stuff that they used to use for, what do you call it? Criminals. Hold on one second. This is from somebody. Oh my Lord. Sorry. A friend of mine from the Northeast just sent me a clip that a bridge, somebody in a truck drove through a wooden covered bridge like the kind from my hometown. It's a little frightening. Yes, Helena, I would like you to stop beating yourself up about grammar. Here's the thing. Once again, do we want to judge people? Hey, Adira, good to see you. Jamie Palmer, how are you? Do we want to judge people, right, on their ability to use correct punctuation? Is that the bar that we want to set for intelligence? I would like to judge people on their ability, right, to communicate and to do so in a way that doesn't make the people they're talking to feel stupid. Yeah? You can have the greatest vocabulary in the world. If the person you're talking to doesn't match you in that vocabulary, they're going to walk away and go, wow, dude uses a lot of big words. That doesn't help you at all in the communication process, right? As a public speaker, this is something that I had to learn early on in the game. Rolling Stone, Bug Tussle is the nickname that I have given the place that I live with Quibs. Not here, but the other part of the world. You follow me? Yes. So I would like to judge people more on the concepts that they're trying to impart, right? The knowledge they're trying to spit out, that kind of thing. And this is a conversation I get into with people all of the time because it seems a common misconception, right? The things that we attribute to knowledge, right? Or to wisdom, intelligence. All of those words get thrown into a bag and they get used synonymously, and they're not. They're not. What if Albert Einstein, right? What if Albert Einstein, say at the age of 16, ended up on a deserted island, right? The boat he was on went down. He and 3 other people swim to shore, and there's nobody there to teach that cat anything. Is he going to be dumb? Would that make Albert Einstein stupid? Does it mean that the people who showed him mathematics are the smart ones? Obviously not, right? This was a guy whose brain was just incredible. Elon Musk, like him or hate him, that cat's got a pretty unusual brain, right? I love watching interviews with him because he doesn't care what you think about him, right? I don't think he has that capacity, which is really unusual, right? Because most people, hold on one second. Yeah, absolutely. That's a good one. Sorry, I'm live right now, but I love that. So, but I'm live. I will get back to you as soon as this is over. Love you, brother. That's Jack. That's my guy, Jack. Jack's doing a lot better, by the way. I am going to be doing some tincture with all 3 Scovilles was the plan, Del Cox. So it's coming. We're just waiting for Johnny to get back in town. Elon is special. He truly is on the spectrum, says Humble and Kind. He is, right? He is. But he doesn't, we as human beings are very self-conscious, right? And you can see that when we're on camera. We don't want to look stupid. This is what I do for work, but you've seen me, someone will say something in the chat that catches you the wrong way or whatever. And there is everybody in the chat knows that somebody, like that night that we had a tough time and I ended that Sunday show. Everybody knew that bummed me out. There wasn't any hiding that. Those kind of things don't bum Elon Musk out. He has a very different, the way he deals with people is very, very different. It's very, very black and white. It doesn't seem to, but it's funny when you'll see someone talking to him and the thought, bubble enters his head and instantly he doesn't care about the interview. He doesn't care about the guy. He'll start staring off into space and you can watch his gears turning, right? All of a sudden he starts to really think and work through things. I think it's fascinating. Diana Tipton says, my daughter is a 9th and 10th grade English teacher. She proofed my mom's obituary and corrected all of my punctuation and a few grammar errors. I appreciate it. Yeah, computers have been good for me. Mach says, I was raised in Germany. Our language is so hard to learn that we got to let's focus on the communication aspect more than the grammar for the main part. I love that. I really do that. Hey, Barbie, I really do, Mock. I love that. I think that I would love for us as people to concentrate more on the content of what we're talking about. More on the content of what we're talking about than the actual delivery of the message. But if presidential politics has ever taught us anything, you want to see something really weird? Look at all of the people that have run for president in the past and compare their height. The tall cat almost always wins. It's not 100% of the time, but almost always. And that's frightening, right? It means that subconsciously we're probably doing things that kind of a bummer, in my humble opinion. So I am back in Tucson. Here's all the questions that you guys sent me when I was on the airplane. Reese and I are fine. I didn't leave. This was scheduled before I ever even went to Tennessee. The day that I bought the ticket, I bought the round trip ticket back. I have a team of doctors who I work with here, and I'm not ready to start from scratch in another state, trying to explain my mental problems to people, right? And going through all of those tests and doing all of that again. Carol Stewart, I'm glad that you're here. Welcome. Hey, Ivy's mom. Good to see you. So I'm back here. I'm going to be, how long am I going to be here is the question. The next one you guys ask. Quibs and I are great. Hux and I are great. The cats, everybody, there was no animosity at all. I left because it was scheduled, people. Although it was a tough morning. She had to drive in fog. And since she's not here, I'll talk about her. I love her to death. I kind of wanted to hold her head underwater this morning. The reason is, and I, by the way, I'd say this to her, which is why I'm willing to say it to you, but I did not want her driving in that fog. It was awful. And I was like, look, I'll get you a hotel room. Just go kick it and watch TV for 2 hours, right? You don't have to do anything. Just wait until the fog lifts. It was so bad, people. I can't explain it how absolutely horrific it was. I mean, there were times where I was frightened. And I'm not a guy that gets frightened in automobiles. I really am not. Team Quibs, go to bed. I am going to bed, I promise. Nat B, you are lucky. If you've got a physician that goes to bat for you, that is awesome. That's where I'm at. I'm not leaving this team, right? Chris, and it wouldn't matter one way or another, right? Because she's going to go with me wherever I go. She's my therapist for life. But the rest of the team that I have here, I'm pretty happy with. And because what I'm struggling with was brought on by an adverse reaction to a psych drug, a really bad one. If I start with a new doctor, I'm going to try to explain to him a drug he's never heard of. I'm going to try to explain to him a study he's never heard of. I'm going to try to, it's really painting me in a corner. So this is for the foreseeable future. I'm sorry, Kitty. You look like she was dropping a claw. For the foreseeable future, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to be splitting my time between the two spots. I'm going to be here for a much shorter period of time than I'm there. But I also have some business stuff that I need to take care of, as the litany of haters will tell you. I'm a con man. Quite a lot of shystering, conning, all of those things. It's a full-time job, people. Full-time job, this grifting. Sorry, crew, didn't mean it as an insult to anyone. No, stop that. Listen, I love it when somebody apologizes with a super chat because it supports the boat. But do you know something? Let's get some thicker skin around this campus, right? If somebody says something like, hey, I really struggle with this, they're not insulting you, right? Common sense will go, and I'm not busting on you either, Elaine. I love you. But common sense will go a long way. We don't need to apologize for that. No, if somebody here is offended by what you said, it's on them, not you. I'm sorry. It's just the way it is. And I've talked about this before, right? Victimhood is celebrated now. Whether you want to believe that or not, it is, right? There's nobility in being a victim. We're not going to do it here, right? Honestly, we're going to have a little bit thicker skin because guess what? We're going to step all over each other's feelings. Right? There's 190 of us here. I would say About 60% of us are recovering drug addicts. The other 40% are willing to hang out with recovering drug addicts because they've got things in their life that are so similar to what we went through that, if I stick a needle in my arm, right, to get my brain to release these chemicals that make me feel like everything in life is perfect, or I go outside and I run 16 miles on a Saturday and get my body to release a crap load of chemicals that are going to make me feel fantastic. You understand? It's my brain doing the work one way or the other, right? One way is the lazy way, and the other way, obviously, is a lot harder. It's going to basically do the same thing. It really is. Johnny Scoville does it with peppers. There's a lot of you that do it with peppers. Got a lot of people here that do that. Yeah, you didn't offend anybody, Helena Flock of Swan Boats, I promise. And if you did, I will be offended on your behalf and yell at them. Come on, people. With a little thicker skin. Tabby is Irish. Wouldn't have you any other way, Tabby. Just joining. I am going to sleep, I promise. B. Hendricks, good to see you. Tip of the cap to the sobriety outlaw. Why, thank you. Good to see you. Shards of words, I'm glad you're here. People, we got a couple of crew members who could use some help. They're in the hospital. I'm not trying to out anybody. If they want to come and talk to you about what is going on with them in terms of their health, and most will, but I'm not going to do it for them. Whatever you believe in, whether you're sending positive energy or you're talking to a deity or a higher power or whatever's going on in your head, I promise they'll know who you're talking about, right? And if they can't, you need to pick a new god. Thank you, Life is Short. I am really going to try. Here's the good thing. I've been able to get no sleep, right? No matter what I do, I just have not been able to get sleep. I walked in, laid down, and fell asleep next to Squirrel instantly. She curled right up next to me. I got a photo I might post tomorrow, but she curled up right next to me instantly. The two of us just fell asleep. She was very happy to see me. The nice thing about Squirrel is she doesn't do the cat thing like, she doesn't do the standoffish cat thing. She gets very, very happy when I come in. She's a great cat. Thank you, Janet Criminello. I appreciate you. Yeah, she has a lot to say always. Squirrel is a talker, man. She just is. I was in the house all of about 10 seconds before she started doing that. She's a talker. She absolutely, and it's my fault because I talk back. Right? When she meows, if I just didn't say anything, but I thought it was really funny in the beginning because she would meow and I would go, about 4:15, but I'm not sure I can make it to the party. I would just sort of answer questions that she didn't ask. And I did it so often, I found myself doing it when I was alone. Right? I was no longer doing it to make people laugh. I was just sort of doing it. And now she just does not. She does not stop. I am an international man of mystery, to be sure. Hey, Scooby Lee, good to see you. Humble Scooby, I love it. So, questions, says Shenancy. I deal with medical issues and mental health. Do you think it's okay to take a break from the medical doctors? It's been 20 years and I need a break from some specialists. Well, here's the thing. I would answer that question, and keep in mind, I'm not a doctor. I'm a drug addict in recovery. But here's how I would answer that question. You know what you're seeing these doctors for way, way better than I do, right? You really know what this is all about. I'll use me as an example. I see a cardiologist, right? And then I see a shrink and I see all of the people that are dealing with my brain. I'm not going to blow off the cardiologist, right? Because the ticker needs to be taken care of. It keeps everything going. And if the ticker doesn't work right, then the rest of this doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter how good my mental state is if my heart stops beating. So I know there are certain things I can't blow off. I would suggest that if you can take it off, if it's not something that you're forced to do, take a little hiatus. Honestly, it might be good. I would, of course, consult with my doctor, tell them why. I could use a break from you. No hard feelings. See what they say. Specialists are pains in the butts very often. I mean it. Not because they're bad people, but because anybody that is that specialized, anybody that is just working on that one thing, that they become myopic. It's the only thing they care about, right? If you're an eye surgeon, you probably don't care what I'm eating. But those two things could be really important together, right? I think in the future, we're going to see a much different sort of a holistic kind of an approach where you have a team of people who ask questions like, is he getting enough sleep, right? Is she eating right? These things are important, right? What's that guy's name, Laszlo or something? Barbie, I love you and I'm glad you're here. Barbie says the other 40% are like me and have other reasons for needing the boat because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what is making the chemicals in your head release. Honestly, can you think about it like that? Because it makes life a lot easier. Well, so the feel-good chemical in your brain comes after you snort a white powder through a straw. Okay? He gets the exact same chemical the same way at a casino, right? Betting on horses or dog racing or football games or blackjack, waiting on the next turn of a card, waiting on the chance that life is going to get better. It's really the same concept if you think about it. Life sucks. I snort this line and things are going to get a little better for a while, right? And the gambler says life sucks, but if this bet hits, man, this is going to be the one. I'm not even going to make another bet. If I hit this one, I'm walking away, but they don't, do they? Right? They don't. And it's like, as criminals, do you know how many times I said, this is the last lick I'm going to do ever? Right? I'm never going to do this again. This is the last crime I'm ever going to commit. After today, I'm done. I said that for about 13 years. Every day. Analytical Blarney says, bed, I made promises. Yes. You know what? Therese Quibell, sorry, not sorry. I really am going to crawl into that bed, I promise. And I'm going to end the show early. But contacts. No, you know what? No need to be kidding. I like it. Johnny had some capsaicin cramps today? Well, I'll be damned. Was he eating those new stuffs? Hey, Angie Barnes. See, Angie Barnes agrees. No apologies necessary. Tommy, I am here because I love your redemption. Wow. You're a great person and have so much wisdom. I don't know about all the wisdom. I do. You know what? I love the word redemption. I love it. Do you know that back in the day, that was on the list? This was going to be called the redemption boat at one point. We were actually talking about that pretty seriously. What's funny is the lifeboat was not on the list. Charlie Muffins and a couple of people that have been here forever could tell you the story, but the lifeboat was not on the list of things we were voting for. The biggest douche nozzle troll on planet Earth suggested the lifeboat on the day when we had like 4 other things that we were going to vote for, and people went nuts. Say what you will. It was a great idea. It really was. We all are in the same boat. Hello, Brenda. Good to see you. I like people who say hello. You know what, Helena Flock of Swan Boats? I think she says, I'm not a recovering addict, but I think you're all a great crew. I think what we're going to find in the future is, right? And maybe someday, they'll be talking about this the same way that they're talking about all this connection stuff. And you guys can say, we've been way ahead of the curve, right? Tommy and everybody at the boat has been talking about this forever. But I think a day is coming where there will be groups and 12-step programs for people, and we're not going to have to break them down into these subcultures of subcultures of subcultures. Like, what are you in here for? I'm a cocaine addict. Well, me too, but I smoke it. Oh, okay, that's 2 rooms down. Or the snorters, the guys who shoot it, they're 3 rooms down. And we do this. I mean, they really do. And I get the idea, right? I get the idea. If everybody in the room knows exactly what you're talking about, and the desire is the same for everybody, that the feeling of the needle breaking the skin, or any of the things that are germane to that particular kind of abuse. If everybody understands that more, then group therapy works better, because group therapy is based on the idea that we don't have to sit around for the first half and say stuff like, let me explain to you why after doing 8 years in prison, I thought it would be a good idea to come out and instantly go get more dope. Obviously, that's not a good idea. It never was a good idea. There's no one on earth that could think that's a good idea. Then why'd you do it? Because addiction makes you do things that are not logical. Addiction is the inability to stop something, right, that we know is bad for us in the face of overwhelming evidence that it's destroying us. We continue to go and buy it as fast as we can and put it into our body. It's the most illogical of diseases, is it not? But I believe a day is coming I believe a day is coming where people are going to come into groups like this and they're not going to call it a drug recovery program, or they're not going to. I've never met anybody that didn't need recovery. I swear to God, I've never met anybody that didn't need recovery. Right? Let's say sobriety. There are people who can get wasted and have no problem with it. They get wasted 3 times a year. It doesn't cut back on anything in their life. It's not hurting their family. It's not doing anything. And you want to hear the shocking truth? That's almost everybody that does dope. Yeah. Most people who do dope experiment. They do a little bit of it in college. They had some good times. Maybe they got crazy for 2 semesters, or maybe they got crazy for 6 years. But then they go, yeah, I grew up. Stop doing it. The addict can't. The addict cannot. But I believe a day is coming where we're not going to give a crap why someone is there, right? We're not going to have to go, oh, this person doesn't belong here. If you find yourself saying that, grab a tack hammer and smack yourself in the head with it 2 or 3 times. Seriously, because you're a rotten human being. And I do get, believe it or not, I get emails from people who will say, this person shouldn't be. Oh, don't do it. Don't do it. I promise. If you got someone that you got a beef with on the boat, reach out to them. Talk to them. Reach out to a friend of theirs. Talk to them. Try to mesh it. Because if you come to me and say, this person, blah, 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 I will just get rid of you. I will. I don't care how much you need help. What do you think of that? And you can come begging back later and saying, boy, I've realized my mistake. Because I'll tell you something, disharmony is disgusting. And I used to think, you know what? It just kind of happens, right? Discord, right? People will get pissed, and then, someone will hear something and they'll start talking bad about somebody. All of these stupid little things begin to happen, right? And you just go, it's kind of part of it, right? Any good group of solid people are going to be susceptible to that. But that's not it. That's not what we've got going on anymore. See, that would have been the case always. But now we live in a whole different world, right? We live in a whole different world where if I had gone back 5 years ago, 10 years ago, something like that. And if I said to you, I make a living basically just being myself and talking about, the things I did in my past. And I kind of get given cash for that. That would seem like a pretty ridiculous concept, would it not? I mean, honestly. And then if I said to you in the next sentence, that's a great way to make a living, right? The only thing that sucks are all the trolls, right? You'd give me that golden retriever look, where the head kind of gets sideways, like, the hell are you doing? Trolls that live under bridges. There's no one on the planet now that doesn't know what a troll is. Because we live in a whole new world. Do you understand? We live in a completely different world. And because we live in this different world, a lot of times now, the seeds of discord, right? They're not an accident. Because this entire little ecosystem has now been around for decades, and it has, this is just an accepted part of a society, right? That if you build something, and if you build it for whatever reason, because you love knitting, or you think the Mustang is the greatest car that ever lived, whatever your reason for building a group of people that want to get together, right, to believe similar things and celebrate those things, right? A group of people are going to show up and be scumbags just because it's what they do. Right? This thing that we're in, it's. I think we hit it out of the park when we said we wanted to reimagine what social media could be, because social media is toxic. Social media is disgusting. Social media gives somebody the opportunity from a 1-bedroom apartment in Schenectady, New York, to take shots at people they've never met, to say anything they want about them, and maybe even make $1 in the process. Wow. Once again, go back to somebody in 1988 and try to describe the concept of what it is we're doing. Troll tax, a quick hello and a good night. You know what? I love Arwa, and I love seeing the, where are you going? The pound symbol. Come here. I love seeing people from the other side of the pond. Thank you, Arwen. Sleep well, please. It's a much different clock she's partying on. The problem with the basket in summer? She doesn't like the, this is the padding on it. I think she starts to sweat. I did miss my kitty. I don't think you have any idea how much I miss my kitty. Hey, Chili Phil, what's up? Well, I'm living the dream, doing the show thing. Your 18-pound tortie turns 12 today. Excuse me? You have an 18-pound tortie. It's just not right. No, now here's my question. Because I do kind of wonder about this, right? Are chunks born, or do we create them because we think it's cool? Because I used to think that people overfed their cats because they liked, the chunkier size cat. But I am watching Kid put on weight. And with Kid, it's just become a competition. Like, she looks at Squirrel and thinks he's not getting any of this food. And she's never gone hungry. I promise. Quibs has never forgot to feed that cat. That cat's well taken care of. But now that there's another animal there, she's like, yeah, I'm eating all this. And the proof is sometimes she will sleep next to the cat bowl. Like, it's on a ledge, right? She'll get right in front of it and sleep there. Like, he ain't eating this stuff, man. When I get up, I'm going to eat the rest of it. So we're going to have to put her on a diet. I don't know how we're going to pull it off yet. But if by chance Squirrel and Bowie would get along, he thinks he's some kind of cat or parrot hybrid, always chatting. I really enjoyed watching your bunny. It was a very cool animal. Because honestly, every time I see rabbits, that people have as pets, I've always seen them in cages. Hey, Pat Watson. I've never seen them. People in America don't seem to take them out to play with them as much. But that bunny was loving on you the way Moose loves on me. Yes, bedtime for Jake's manager. Yeah, it is about that time. You know what, Shards of Words? I'm glad to hear that. Shards of Words said that the boat has kept her head afloat the past few weeks. I love that. That's why we're here. Squirrel Girl, how cool is that? How lucky. I mean it. Hey, Colleen. Thank you. It's good to be back. Although I'll tell you what, it was hot when I got here. Ah, yes, the elixir of the troll sleep tax. Thank you. You guys are so funny, man. You really are. Hashtag Team Reese, go to bed. Love you. Mean it. Okay, you know what? I really am going to do that. Love Mama Bear. Just got done with movie night with the hubby. Oh, how cool. Guacaholic, I seem to have missed what you said. I do this all the time. I seem to have missed what you said. Oh, money for catnip. You're going to be seeing a lot of squirrel. Here's the thing. I don't even set out to make squirrel videos. I really don't. Thank you, Barbie. I don't set out to make squirrel videos. But what happens is she's just so damn entertaining, right? Every minute of every day, she's doing something that I'm like, I got to film this. Hey, everyone. If there's time tonight, I'd like ask you all some referring to my life situation, which is kind of scaring me. Yeah, you're in the right place, Guac. Now, hopefully I didn't miss what that question was. Okay, no, I don't think I did. All right, Guac, throw it up there. Let's do it. Oh, sorry. Wow. I'm sorry. I'm reading heavy stuff. Comment. A friend said I was playing the victim during a disagreement. I don't think I do it, but it made me think enough to want to pull the string because I'm doing that without realizing it. Wow. You know what, JB Palmer? I wish I knew you a couple of years ago, right? And the reason I say that is without a point of reference, I don't know who you were before we met, but I'm fascinated by the comments that you leave. You are about as aware of yourself as anybody that I've come across on YouTube. I'm serious. You are constantly working through things. You're constantly discovering realizations about situations and events in your life. I think it's fascinating because some people journal. And some people journal, right? I journaled for like 3 years before I started journaling, right? Before it really became an exploration of who I am. And it's life changing. But I love the way you work through things, Jamie. I really do. Sorry, let's see. It's hard to put my question into a nutshell, says Guac. I believe it. Let's give it a shot, though. We'll work with you. If you need it in a couple of parts, we'll get through this because we're going to concentrate on what you're about to say. How's that? So you're right, Kristen Melinda. Kristen Melinda says, I'm a big fan of group therapy, but it takes a lot of coaxing to get people to agree to go sometimes. You know what I've found, honestly? More often than not, when I have success, what I'll do is I will describe how it's going to work for the person, right? In the best case scenarios, because obviously that's what we're shooting for. And I described the fact that it's a process or whatever, but I like the idea of painting the picture in someone's head of a better world, a better time, something more fun, something more successful, because the truth of the matter is that's exactly what they're going to get out of it, right? And that's not what they hear, right? When as people, when we hear therapists, we hear, oh, you weak SOB. You can't get through this crap on your own. Literally, you're so weak, you got to pay somebody $100 an hour to sit and listen to you. It's kind of the narrative, hasn't it been? Yeah. I don't give a crap, man. I'm sorry. I think the bravest people in the world go to therapists. For real. I've done a lot of scary crap. I've hopped out of airplanes. I've jumped off of cliffs with skis on. I've done a lot of really stupid things in my life to get adrenaline. I'm telling you, it takes way more balls to sit down in a room with somebody and talk about your innermost secrets. For real. Carrying a gun ain't that difficult. Sitting down in a room and having that kind of a conversation, that takes guts. And I respect the crap out of it. Lauren Stevens says, mine is food. I can't stand it. Well, identifying your problem is literally this is not a cliche. That's an absolute fact. Being able to say I have a problem with food and saying that out loud, you realize that people will die at 300 pounds and not ever utter that phrase. All healing, right? Not physical stuff. I'm talking about the kind of healing we do. Starts with the acceptance of the fact that you need to heal, right? We all know people who go, I don't believe in therapy. I won't go to a therapist. I don't believe in it. I'm not doing it. I don't believe in it. A lot of ex-Scientologists do not believe in it because it's been so ingrained in them that they're the boogeymen, right? The people, psych med people, holy shit. They're trying to enslave your brain, right? This is bad juju. You don't want anything to do with those people. Even if you leave that cult, there's still going to be a hangover. I read a fascinating comment after I did Cults and Crims the other night. We brought up the fact that LRH was the most, he put out more work as a writer than anybody in history, right? More of his shit's been copywritten than any other author in history. Figure out how long that cat's been alive. Realize that he built a cult, right? Traveled around on the boats, did all this thing, and cranked out how many books? You're going to come to the realization that one of two things happened. He had a team of people writing for him, right? Ghostwriters, whatever, and he put his name on it. That's the first logical conclusion. The second logical conclusion is this guy didn't sleep much. Right? He spent a lot of time awake. And then as you start to deep dive, you will find that everyone around said, oh, yeah, the guy would sometimes go on writing binges for days. Anybody know how you can sit down and write for days? I know two ways. One is if you're bipolar, right? Because when you go into phases of mania, of being manic, right? That kind, it's a buzz, whether you realize it or not, it's a buzz. The brain chemicals in your brain aren't working right, so you're jacked. It's like being a tweaker, right? Real talk. The other option, of course, is somewhat healthier, right? Jason P., thank you for being a constant for so many people on this boat. Your presence means everything to so many, and I stand in awe of all that you do for so many on this boat. Thank you. You know what, AB? You picked a good person to say that to. Jane Aldrich, there is so much overlap Let's see. What am I about? 5 minutes behind? Let's see. Wow. Four things of the fingers and still not. Nikki Neverin says her tortie is massive too. Wow. I'm missing super chats. I'm all kind of bad. Tommy Scoville, I'm a teacher and I gave your girlfriend most of my money earlier tonight. Bedtime. Yes, I am going to do that. I promise. Hey, Lino, Ellie J, 5 memberships. Look at this. People are turning green all over the place. It's like Kermit's place. Tossing them out there. I'm still not seeing Guac. Guac, come on, bud. Where are we at? Hey, I got an idea. Huge thanks and shout out to the mods. Troll Tax, Cat Treat Tax, LEJ, you rock. Duchess Diana, good to see you. Guac, if we can't do it this way, then what we need to do is you need to shoot me an email and I'll have you come on the show if you're willing. You can sit in the shadows if you don't want your face on. But if it's something that's going to be really hard to put in a comment, but you want to work through it, and by the way, people, if you're not terrified of sitting in front of a camera, you're willing to sit in the shadows and you want to tell your story, it's good if the story is compelling. And what I mean by that is you don't have to be somebody that split the atom, but you had to have overcome, right? That's what we're looking for, obviously. It's what everybody here has in common. Did I get Reese into journaling? Shannon, I would imagine that I had something to do with it. I spend a lot of time journaling. If you hang around with me, it's probably going to be one of those things that you dabble in just because I do it a lot. Rue says, got off Ambien 8 years ago. Nice. Only drug I've used. My adult kid taught me to eat half of, right? I'm doing couch cookie to sleep. Working it for me. What do you think about that? I'm guessing better than Ambien. Okay, I'll tell you. Would I rather have you on a cannabis product or on Ambien? Are you kidding? Ambient's poison. Ambien is an awful drug. And I've abused Ambien. I've done it for fun, right? I've taken Ambien. I won't tell you how you're supposed to take Ambien if you want to have a good time on it. But there's a way that you take it as a drug addict to party on Ambien, right? So that you don't fall asleep on it. It's a terrifying drug. I'm not kidding you, man. It's a terrifying drug. It is so strong psychoactively. Man, if it's a drug supposed to knock you out, knock me out, right? Don't have me thinking, the most unbelievable thoughts, getting in my car and driving around. It was like, I don't know, it's a very weird drug because they're not strong in the sense of like a Quaalude was, but boy, you can act stupid on them. And we've seen famous people do a lot of really stupid stuff on it. Tommy, for the love that's all, yes. You know what? Here for all its holy, bed, and I really am going right now. We just caught up. You take Ambien every night for 22 years, can't get off it. Peanut, I believe that is the truth. People who get into the Ambien cycle have a very difficult time getting off of the Ambien cycle. Now, I'm not a doctor. I cannot advise you on things of this nature. What I can tell you is that there are other sleep medications that people use as a way to get off of that sleep medication. You would, of course, need to talk to your doctor about it. One of the things that people have had success with in the past is Lunesta. The idea being it turns the brain off, right? It's less of a body buzz and more of a just kind of stops the brain from wandering. And usually that helps people get to sleep. But you would need some help. Hold on one second. Leno, good for you. The journal is your best friend and helper. And you know what? Goosebumps 801 says, Analytical Blarney, you're a hero. And you know what? A lot of truth to that. A lot of truth to that. Tommy Bird says, I've abused Ambien as well. Almost makes you hallucinate. That's exactly what happened to me. Good God. Franklin MC says, I was on Halcyon for 8 days. Brother, I've never met anybody that did Halcyon for 8 days. Halcyon, people, if you don't know what that drug is rugged. Very late to the boat and missed Reese's live entirely. Well, if you had to catch one, should have been hers. I can't back that up. I'm glad you're here. Glad to see you made it back to Arizona safely. Good to have an SNZ sighting tonight. You will get a cat in a basket, I promise. Oh boy, do I have a guest for you, but unfortunately he's not available for another 5.5 months. I can't wait. I cannot wait. Your boy will absolutely be here. He's a man, but you know what I mean. It's always going to be your boy. Hey, Tommy, welcome home, my friend. Well, I'm glad to be home, Caroline. Thank you. You stick with melatonin. Tommy Bird says, I've used all of them these days. I stick with melatonin. And now, all right, ready, people? I am going to wrap this up. Little sleep. Analytical Blarney. That's going to be a short. Analytical Blarney is correct. I really do need to wrap this up. And guess what this is, everybody? Huh? What's that, Kathy? That is a cat in a basket. Hey, SNZ. That cat's a hero, and she knows it. Seriously, star of the lifeboat. She's a good girl. She's so happy I'm back. All right, I'm going to go sleep with my girl here. We will see you tomorrow night, people. I love you. By then, I'm going to have a good night's sleep, and we're going to run a whole. Hey, Hill Have No Fury. Good to see you. I will be back tomorrow. Do me a favor. If your name's Guacaholic, please reach out to me. I'd like to know what's going on. Don't do it sober. Who do it to me? Okay, TommyScoville@gmail.com. Put Guacaholic in the subject box. All right. Love all of you. See you guys tomorrow. God bless.